So suddenly I'm in love with a stranger. I can't believe she's mine. Now all I see is you with fresh eyes, fresh eyes. Andy Grammer, Fresh Eyes. A really quick and simple lesson today. It's a great song. It's about 7 or 8 years old now, but I've been asked to do this song, do a breakdown for it. I like this lesson in particular because it teaches you some really useful things about using a couple of really key notes in a chord. You don't need to use all 6 strings for a chord. In fact, there's really 2 notes that give you the essence of what a chord has to do, and that's of course the root note and the third, and that's all we're playing in these 4 chords that go throughout this song. It reminds me a lot of another lesson I did, and I'm going to put the link below just in case you want to guess it first. But in the way that we play most of this song on the E string for our bass note or our root note and the G string for the third of the chord. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the third of the chord, I mean the third note in the major scale of that chord. If it's a C major chord, that third note in the C major scale, that's your third. That's your third for the C major chord. Anyway, we run over basically 4 chords for this song the whole way through. And what they are is E minor, which we're playing up here on the 12th fret. So here's your E on the 12th fret of the E string, naturally. Here is your minor third. Now, your minor third is basically going to be the note that's 3 frets above your root note, and your major third is going to be 4 frets above your root note. Now, where that comes in handy here is that for a minor chord, you're on the same fret as your root note. For a major chord, you're 1 fret higher than your root note fret. Hope that makes sense, because now all you have to do is follow these chords: E, D, G, C. And yes, you can play them on the A string and move around less up and down the neck, but this is the way that Andy Grammer plays it. So E minor is the first chord, D major is the next chord, G major is the next chord, C major is the 4th chord. Now, if you remember that only the first one is a minor, then the other 3 shapes are exactly the same. Okay? The rhythm right? 1 and 2 and. So you're changing from the E minor to the D on the 2 and. 1 and 2 and 3. And then you pause and hit that major third for the D chord, which is an F sharp, like that, in that sort of timing. It's on your tab. Be careful with it, because once you get this groove going, it's really, really easy. I have actually put the percussive sounds and everything in the right place on your tab. I've only done it in the first line, and then pretty much the rest of the song, except for the middle section, is all the same all the way through. So I'll do this slowly and you can see how it fits with the tab, right? And you slide up to that C, that last C. There's a little open E before you land on the G. It doesn't matter if you do the slide or don't do the slide. What matters is you hit that chord. The C is another push, like going from the E minor to the D, the G to the C is a push, so you change to the C on the 2 and beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's your verse, and it's your chorus. So suddenly I'm in love with a stranger. I can't believe she's mine. Now all I see is you with fresh eyes. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, pretty much all the way through. Now, what you are going to find is that when you get to the middle section, it's a little bit different. If you played the same thing over the middle section, it would work. Most people would probably not realize you were not doing the exact right thing. But the chords do change slightly. Just before the middle section, it goes back to just the bass notes. So you're going. And then it goes onto the middle section. And so what happens here is we go E minor, and now we are playing on the A string 7th fret instead of the E string 12th fret, because we're moving from E minor to F sharp minor, and same shape, up 2 frets. Then we're going to our G, but we're playing it here on the D string 5th fret, and then you're playing this B here, which is your major third, and you're doing that little slide up and playing the 8th fret on the E, then followed by the 8th fret on the B. So it sounds like this. Hear those two little... That's with this back and forth action with your finger and thumb. That is really, really helpful to keep this groove going, because you'll find that it just happens naturally. So don't worry too much about forcing those little notes. Just land on the notes on the right beat, and you'll find that you'll automatically do those little percussive notes. On the last one, you hear it goes down through those notes and then back into the chorus and heads on out. That's all there is to it. The groove sounds harder than it is. If you take it slowly and just work on thumb down for the bass note, finger, first finger, second finger, doesn't matter, up for the major third or the minor third, depending on, like that. Just start coming back with your percussive tap on the beat, like that, without even moving chords around, just to get that groove sitting right and feeling natural, because it should feel natural. As far as your fingering with your left hand goes, or your fretting hand, I should say, I tend to find those two fingers when you're on the same fret together, followed by those two fingers or those two fingers when you're on adjacent frets, is the best way to go about it. But you find your own way there, you find what's comfortable for you. So there it is, Fresh Eyes, Andy Grammer. Thanks for watching. I hope I've made that fast and efficient and useful for you. It's a good song to play. It's a great groove to get into your fingers. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.